Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Emily Carmen. Thank you for joining us. After the heat advisory warning issued last week, the valley will be experiencing a different type of extreme weather. Flash flood warnings have been issued throughout the valley as a storm off the coast causes a change. The expected thunderstorm is from Tropical Storm Nora. Nora is off the Gulf of California and will increase moisture in Arizona and bring rainfall with it. Over the weekend, Nora hit the Mexican coast and caused flooding in the streets. Tropical Storm Nora, combined with rain from this monsoon season, has more than doubled the rainfall that was seen last monsoon season. Here's what Nora looks like on our weather radar. You can see moisture is coming into Arizona from Mexico. We'll see the greatest chance for rain on Wednesday. In fact, the National Weather Service has issued a flash flood watch for the entire state that is set to go into effect Tuesday through Wednesday night. It's been 58 years since Martin Luther King Jr.'s March on Washington. To commemorate this historic event and to continue Reverend King's work for civil rights, a rally was held in Phoenix on Saturday, specifically to bring attention to voting rights. Nearly 200 supporters converged on Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church in downtown Phoenix to participate in the I Have a Dream Voting Rights March. Organizers held events across the country to bring attention to federal voting rights protections. During the Phoenix event, volunteers registered people to vote. Zelma Rodriguez, the Arizona director of March On for Voting Rights, says registering voters is the most important way to fight voter suppression.
Make sure you're still registered. You know, oftentimes we don't even know it and you fall off the voter rolls. So how tragic would it be that you show up thinking you're okay to vote and indeed you're not? It doesn't matter how many elections you voted in. It doesn't matter if you've never missed one. Your job right now until Election Day is to make sure you are a registered voter.
To check your voter registration status or to register yourself, visit azsos.gov. COVID-19 cases in Arizona are continuing to rise as the Delta variant spreads. Arizona health officials are reporting more than 3,200 new COVID-19 cases over the weekend. This comes after Arizona had a 5-day streak last week where they reported more than 3,000 cases a day. Arizona hit the 1 million COVID-19 case milestone on Friday, making it the 13th state to do so. The state's total number of cases is currently at a little over 1 million. Nearly 2,000 patients are currently hospitalized with COVID-19 as of yesterday. 5 states are under investigation by the Department of Education over mask mandate restrictions. The Education Department says it's investigating 5 Republican-led states, saying the policies could amount to discrimination against students with disabilities or health conditions. The department's Office for Civil Rights sent letters to education chiefs in Iowa, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Utah. Those states have barred schools from requiring masks among students and staff, a move that the department says could prevent some students from safely attending school. The department says it has not opened investigations here in Arizona because the ban isn't yet being enforced in schools. Arizona's ban is set to go into effect September 29th. Governor Doug Ducey named Don Harrington as the new interim director of the Arizona Department of Health Services. Harrington has been with the ADHS for 21 years in many different roles. Now he will be responsible for overseeing frontline healthcare workers amid the pandemic. Harrington will replace Dr. Kara Christ, who has held the position since 2015. Former Surgeon General Dr. Richard Carmona was also chosen to be a senior advisor for public health emergency preparedness. Because of the COVID surge, the European Union is removing the U.S. from the list of safe countries for non-essential travel. The EU recommends that all of its 27 member nations reinstate restrictions on tourists from the U.S., but members can decide for themselves if they want to keep their borders open to U.S. tourists. The guidance is non-binding. U.S. travelers should check the restrictions of the country they plan to visit. And now a look back on some of our stories showing the natural wonder and things to do in our state.
Today, there's an excessive heat warning at certain parts of the Grand Canyon National Park, where temperatures are reaching 109 degrees. Heat-related illnesses and other emergencies are common at the park. In 2020 alone, there were 693 medical emergency service incidents. Cronkite News reporter Tina Giuliano spoke with park officials who are urging visitors to plan ahead.
At 7,000 feet of elevation, the Grand Canyon looks calm and peaceful.
In the hotel.
But without a plan,
Yeah, did you want to go back?
the landscape can be deadly.
We have seen a lot of heat-related illnesses. It is something in especially June, July, and August we see a lot of anyway.
We ran into hikers that knew when to turn around.
We brought a couple bottles of water, but we didn't know how far we were going to go, so we decided to turn around so that we didn't run out of water.
Joelle Baird has seen this before as a ranger in Grand Canyon for the last 9 years, a majority of them working as an EMT.
I do remember my first season as a volunteer working in that capacity being very overwhelmed with the number of people hiking into the Grand Canyon and also how many of them were experiencing heat-related illness.
As hikers descend into the canyon, the temperatures get about 20 degrees hotter. Just last week, a man collapsed and died on Bright Angel Trail.
Heat-related injuries can be deadly, and we've had some visitors die even this year as a result of heat-related injuries.
But heat isn't the only weather-related issue. Over the weekend, 1 person died, 2 went missing, and several others were injured after a flash flood in the canyon. Keeble recalls a rescue that involved a hiker that was off-trail and dehydrated.
The path got narrower and narrower, and eventually we had to take a helicopter to airlift her out of where she had walked herself into.
But whether it's hiking, biking, or enjoying the view, Grand Canyon officials like Baird and Keeble advocate for visitors to prepare.
Plan like a ranger. Come here, look at our website, find out what you need to do to be prepared, especially if you're going to hike into the canyon.
And hikers have their own safety tips.
If you're wearing AirPods or earbuds, you need to still be cautious about what's around you.
Because you don't want this view to come at a cost. At the Grand Canyon, Tina Giuliano, Cronkite News.
Trails on 2 popular mountains will be closed when temps climb. That was the decision last night from the City of Phoenix Parks and Recreation Board. As Tina Giuliano reports, members approved a new program that would impose restrictions on trails at Camelback Mountain and Piestewa Peak.
Caitlin Walker is no stranger to Camelback Mountain.
Within the last year, I'm here consistently 5-6 days a week.
For her, the trails are better than any treadmill.
It's the best kind of cardio. I'm out in nature. I don't feel like I'm doing work.
The trails aren't always easy, especially with the heat, she says.
I choose to come to Echo because it's a bit challenging and I enjoy it. And honestly, when the sun's up, it's a little bit more covered versus Piestewa where it's all open.
But starting this Friday through September 30th, hiking Echo and Cholla trails at Camelback Mountain and Piestewa Peak Trail at Piestewa Peak will be restricted when the thermometer hits 105 degrees. These trails are not only difficult for the hiker, but also for the rescuer.
We just want to limit those 2 parks just because they have very unique set of circumstances to them where they are just a lot more dangerous, a lot more complicated.
Yesterday, the Phoenix Parks and Recreation Board approved this program at the request of the United Phoenix Firefighters Association. From 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., trailhead gates will be closed during excessive heat watch days, per the National Weather Service.
So our ask to them was that they simply restrict access to the summit trails of Piestewa and Camelback Mountain during times of extreme temperature.
This comes after 12 firefighters were sent home for heat-related injuries after rescuing multiple people.
Extreme that we did 3 in one day on the 2 separate mountains.
The move to restrict the trails was met with some debate in the meeting. Walker said for an avid hiker like herself, this isn't fair.
This is a challenging hike as is, so if you aren't a hiker, I suggest trying something a little bit easier. But the people that are here on a regular basis, it's not fair because this is our peace, this is our serenity.
The board will reevaluate the program in October. In Phoenix, Tina Giuliano, Cronkite News.
While the COVID-19 pandemic has been tough for many small businesses, we found one business that managed to stay afloat while keeping everyone safe. Puzzle Rides is part escape room, part scavenger hunt, and it's all on a golf cart. Reporter Julia Sandor went to Scottsdale to take a ride.
Puzzle Rides was set to open on March 13th, 2020. And on March 12th, Arizona businesses closed their doors because of the pandemic. But it wasn't long before they could start their new and safe getaway during COVID-19. Puzzle Rides is an interactive scavenger hunt escape room game, all on a golf cart. Groups have 75 minutes to figure out clues and unlock boxes to win. And there are many different theme rides to choose from, like Pirate's Treasure Adventure or Wild West Heist. Although they started off slow, with only 4 groups in the first month, they surrounded themselves with a community of mom and pop shops to grow their business.
We would partner to really help promote small businesses in these communities. And so we've been able to do that here in Old Town Scottsdale spectacularly because most of the businesses here are small business owners, same as in Prescott. And so it's been very exciting to be able to bring in people into a business they might have walked right by.
Puzzle Rides has partnered with 6 small businesses in Scottsdale who agree to be a location on the scavenger hunt. Some of the clues from the ride will lead them to the shops in the area. And at the end, participants receive coupons or discounts to come back and shop. The Spice and Tea Exchange is one of the partners, and owner Lisa Picorni says the extra exposure goes a long way.
They've been really supportive of us, and it's really nice that small businesses are helping each other out through this, and to bring them in and allow them to experience our shop while they're having fun on their puzzle ride has just been I think, beneficial for both.
Whether you're a tourist or an Arizona native, their goal is to show you new places, like the art installations in the area, while having fun on the journey.
So the more businesses we partner with, we know we're building experiences for people, and yes, we do hope that they go back to those businesses, but even if they don't, the experiences they have, it's a richer experience when you travel to go where the locals go, and that's what we're really trying to do.
In Scottsdale, Julia Sandor, Cronkite News.
They have another location in Prescott as well, where they team up with the local business owners there to create a fun riding experience.
The Tour de France concluded on Sunday along the Champs-Élysées in Paris. But while that race was taking place, a similar competition was happening much closer to home. Emily Carmen has more on the event and its participants, a group you might not expect.
You've probably heard of the Tour de France, but what about the Tour de Zest? Held at La Sienna Assisted Living Community, this cycling event is not for the young, but for the old. Every participant is over 80.
Old people can do anything they put their mind to. It's just, there's no bar. You set your own bar, and you have to feel good about what you do.
The residents at La Sienna demands the extraordinary from their activities department. That's how the Tour de Zest came to be.
We have to come up with remarkable activities every month. That's what they want. Not bingo, not your normal, give us something remarkable.
The 10-day competition is led by Pam Shedd, who herself has cycled across the United States 15 times. She said she is constantly inspired by the older participants.
In here, like I said, I get to share my passion of fitness with people that are still loving it.
La Sienna is just one of 32 assisted living communities competing in the Tour de Zest. The rules of the race work like this. For every 30 minutes the participants ride, they earn 8 miles. The event organizers then tally up the miles, and at the end of 10 days, the community with the most total miles will win the coveted Tour de Zest trophy.
Second place is good, but I think we can go all the way. These guys are tough. And we want that trophy.
But the Tour de Zest isn't just about the trophy. It's about staying healthy and making friends.
It's good to get out of the apartment and meet people and getting the exercise that we need.
And of course, it's about the zest.
Zest is vitality, youth. We're moving against ageism. We're not saying because you're 90 you can't do certain things. We want to promote an enthusiasm for living.
For those competing in the Tour de Zest, age is just a state of mind. In Phoenix, Emily Carmen.
Our heat wave is impacting citrus trees, especially those planted during the pandemic. I talked with an expert to get tips on how to keep them healthy.
During the pandemic, when everyone was stuck at home, many people took on a new hobby. For many residents, that hobby was gardening, and one of the most sought-out plants was a citrus tree.
This last year, we saw tons of customers coming in looking to do more home-based gardening. They wanted to have edible products that they didn't have to leave the house for. And of course, a big part of that's the citrus trees.
Citrus is a huge export of our state and is one of the iconic 5 C's of Arizona that is taught in schools.
And citrus is something that's very unique to our state. You can grow it in your homes. You can, of course, we grow it commercially, which is why it's one of those 5 C's. And we have things like your grapefruits, lemons, limes, oranges, tangerines, pretty much everything you can think of will grow here.
Sal Bracale explains that during the pandemic, his nursery saw a 20% uptick in clients looking to buy citrus trees.
Really feed quite a few people in a household. You can use it for, of course, drinks and cocktails, things like that. But really the edible source that these guys are was what made these so popular.
Bracale says there are other useful benefits to owning a citrus tree.
And actually adds to the retail value of your home. Landscaping your home with all kinds of trees, but especially these beautiful citrus trees can really help you guys flip your home on down the road. And that's something else that's going on really heavily in our area right now.
With the extreme heat this summer and not having any experience, Bracale says new owners are unsure of how to care for them.
And now we're starting to get those questions about care. How often do I water? When do I fertilize, and what do I need to do?
If cared for correctly, by early winter, these green citrus fruits will be orange and ready to harvest.
Bracale says that watering new citrus trees is the most important care tip. He suggests a slow and heavy watering to help the plants survive summer heat and stress.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. On Break It Down, the major increase of women of color running for office. That's next. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.